Admiral Gextai stood on the command deck of his flagship, watching the empty space where Earth had been just moments ago. The bright blue planet was gone, replaced by floating pieces of metal and rock. His 6 legs adjusted on the deck as he felt satisfied with what they had done. "Admiral, the mission is complete," said his assistant. The bug-like Zarkoni soldier clicked his sharp jaws together in a happy way. "The human homeworld is destroyed." All around the bridge, beings from 12 different worlds celebrated. Some had fur, others had scales, and a few looked like walking plants. They had all worked together to end this long war. After 30 years of fighting, humanity's main planet was finally gone. The Galactic War was over. Lieutenant Velna, a cat-like creature with golden fur and sharp ears, watched her computer screens. Her people, the Sithari, had the best senses. In the fleet, she could detect things others missed. "Sir," she said, her voice worried, "I'm seeing strange signals coming from far away." "Just pieces of the destroyed planet," said another officer. But Velna shook her head. The signals were getting stronger, not weaker. They were moving toward them. "Admiral," she called out, louder now. "There are huge ships coming. Their power levels don't make sense. This is impossible." The celebration stopped. Everyone turned to look at the main screen. A massive ship appeared at the edge of the solar system. It was 6 kilometers long, covered in weapons that glowed with strange energy. Then another appeared, and another. Soon, 48 enormous ships surrounded the galactic fleet. These weren't the small, fast ships humans usually used. These were giants built for war. The biggest ship opened a channel. A woman appeared on the screen. She looked young but had old, tired eyes. Her uniform was different from any human clothing they had seen before. "I am Admiral Hana of the Earth Defense Force," she said calmly. "You have just destroyed a fake image of Earth. The real planet was moved to safety 5 years ago." The alien commanders stared in shock. Admiral Gextai's mandibles trembled. "We have been waiting for you to come here," Admiral Hana continued. "You walked into our trap." The celebration turned into fear. How was this possible? They had watched Earth die. They had seen it break apart. "You must be lying," Admiral Gextai said. "We destroyed your world." "You destroyed a hologram," Hana replied. "A very good one, but still fake. While you celebrated, we surrounded you." Lieutenant Velna's screens showed more ships appearing. These looked different from human ships, but they had human markings on them. Ships from other star systems. Ships the Galactic Fleet had never seen before. "Phase 1 complete," came a voice from the human command ship. "All groups in position." The largest human ship moved forward. Despite its huge size, it moved smoothly and quietly. Strange symbols glowed on its hull. Its weapons turned to face the Galactic Fleet. "This cannot be happening," whispered a reptilian captain on Gextai's bridge. Admiral Hana's face remained calm. "When you started this war 30 years ago, you thought you knew everything about humans. You thought we were weak. You thought we were alone. You were wrong." More alien ships appeared behind the human dreadnoughts. Ships with crystals for hulls. Ships that looked alive. Ships from races the Galactic Fleet thought were dead or just stories. "You spent 30 years trying to destroy us," Hana said. "We spent 30 years preparing for this moment. Welcome to the trap." The trapped Galactic Fleet realized they had made a terrible mistake. There were no more celebrations on the command deck. Only fear and confusion filled the air. Admiral Gextai looked at his officers. They had come here to finish a war. Instead, they had walked into the biggest trap in galactic history. The humans had outsmarted them all. Admiral Hana looked at the alien commanders through the screen. Her face showed no fear, only calm control. She had seen 30 years of war and death. Nothing could shake her now. "You made many mistakes when you started this war," she said quietly. "Big mistakes that will cost you everything." The alien officers on their bridge stared at her. Some had 8 arms, others breathed underwater in special tanks. All of them looked scared now. "Your first mistake was thinking humans could only live near Earth," Hana continued. "Your second mistake was thinking our machines were weak. But your biggest mistake was thinking we had no friends." More ships appeared on the screens. The Galactic Fleet's sensors showed hundreds of new vessels. These ships looked human, but had strange symbols on them. Symbols from other star systems. Lieutenant. Velna's computer beeped. Admiral, these ships are coming from Tau Ceti, Wolf 359 and Alpha Centauri. The humans have spread to dozens of systems. Admiral Gextai's 6 legs shook. Impossible. We watched Earth. We saw everything. On the human command ship, a man in uniform walked to Admiral Hana. Commander Minjun reporting. All battle groups are ready. Phase 1 is done. The biggest human ship began to move. It was called Soul's Revenge. Even though it was huge, it floated through space like a dancer. Bright symbols covered its metal sides. These symbols looked like math equations, but they glowed with their own light. The weapons on Soul's Revenge moved in perfect circles. They pointed at different alien ships, then moved again. It was like watching a deadly dance. We watched all your messages, Admiral Gextai said. We listened to everything. How did you hide this? Admiral Hana smiled for the first time. Not a happy smile, but a cold one. You only heard what we wanted you to hear. While you spent 30 years trying to kill us, we spent 30 years getting ready for this day. On the alien command deck, a blue-skinned officer checked his instruments. Sir, their ships are using energy we don't understand. Our weapons might not work against them. Another ship moved next to Soul's Revenge. This one was called Busan's Thunder. Then another joined them. Incheon's Fury. Each ship was enormous and covered in glowing symbols. We studied your technology, Hana explained. Every time you attacked us, we learned something new. Every battle made us stronger. Commander Min Jun spoke again. Admiral, the Nexari ships are in position. The Letharian fleet is ready. Predecessor. Vessels are waiting for orders. The alien commanders looked confused. Those were names they knew. The Nexari were space pirates. The Letharians were supposed to be dead. The predecessors were just old stories. Admiral Gextai's voice cracked. The predecessors are myths. Everyone knows that. Many things you know are wrong, Hana replied. The predecessors never left. They just hid. The Letharians were never destroyed. The Nexari were never just pirates. They all waited for the right time. Strange ships appeared from behind the human dreadnoughts. Some looked like giant crystals floating in space. Others seemed alive, with smooth curves and moving parts. A few had shapes that hurt to look at, as if they existed in too many dimensions. While you tried to conquer the galaxy by force, Hana said, we built something better. We built friendship. We built trust. We built an alliance. The alien fleet suddenly felt very small. They had come here with 12 different species working together. Now they faced dozens of species they didn't even know existed, Lieutenant Velna whispered to her captain. Sir, I count over 200 ships, maybe more. They're all around us. Admiral Hana's voice became harder. You wanted a war. You got one. But it's not the war you expected. On the Soul's Revenge, weapons began to charge. Strange energy built up in the glowing equations on its hull. Other human ships did the same. Now you have a choice, Hana announced. Surrender, and we'll talk. Fight, and learn why the greatest. Civilizations in history respect human engineering. The alien commanders looked at each other. They had come here to celebrate victory. Instead, they were trapped like animals. The war was supposed to be over. Now it was just beginning for real. Admiral Hana looked at the scared alien commanders through her screen. She felt satisfied watching them panic as their ships tried to form new battle lines. Thank you for bringing all your fleets here, she said with a slight smile. This saves us the trouble of hunting you down across the galaxy. Behind Hana, the command deck of her ship buzzed with activity. Human officers worked at stations covered in lights and screens. Their fingers danced across controls that made soft beeping sounds. The alien commanders studied Hana's face. She looked young for such a high rank, but her eyes told a different story. They were the eyes of someone who had seen friends die in battle, someone who had made hard choices during dark times. On her uniform, strange symbols glowed softly. None of the 12 alien species recognized these markings. They were new, different, unknown. 30 years ago you started this war, Hana continued. You thought you knew everything about humans. More ships appeared on the alien fleet sensors. These vessels looked human but carried different flags. One group had symbols from Tau Ceti. Another showed markings from Wolf 359. A third displayed the signs of Proxima Centauri. Lieutenant Velna's whiskers twitched as she read her screen. Admiral Gextai, the humans have ships from at least 20 different star systems. Admiral Gextai's mandibles clicked nervously. But we watched Earth. We saw everything that happened there. Phase lines Alpha through Delta execute, Hana commanded. The massive human ships began to move. The Soul's Revenge floated through space like a giant dancer. The Busan's thunder followed, its weapons pointing in different directions. The Inchen's fury brought up the rear, energy flowing through the symbols on its hull. Each dreadnought was a work of art. Math equations were carved into their metal sides. These weren't just decorations. They glowed with bright light, as if the math itself had come alive. The weapons on each ship moved in perfect circles. Up, down, left, right, then repeat. It looked like a deadly ballet performed by giants in space. Impossible, Admiral Gextai finally spoke. We listened to every message you sent. We watched every ship that left Earth. We tracked everything. Hana's smile grew wider. You only saw what we wanted you to see. Commander Park from the Soul's Revenge appeared on a smaller screen next to Hana. Admiral, all human ships are in position. Allied fleets are ready, waiting for your orders. Admiral Gextai felt his confidence crumbling. Allied fleets? What allied fleets? You spent 30 years trying to destroy us, Hana explained. But we spent those same 30 years doing something you never expected. The alien fleet's sensors showed more ships appearing. These weren't from Earth or human colonies. They were different, strange, ancient. Crystal ships that looked like giant gems floated into view. Vessels that seemed alive, with smooth curves and pulsing lights, joined them. Some ships had shapes that made no sense, as if they came from another dimension. We were busy building bigger ships, Hana said. We were busy studying your technology, but most importantly, we were busy making friends. A new voice joined the conversation. The screen split, showing a tall creature with features that seemed to change when you looked at them. Greetings, Admiral Gextai, the being said politely. I am Captain Vielth of the predecessor fleet. We have been watching this war with great interest. Gextai's 6 eyes went wide. The predecessors are myths, ancient stories. We are very real, Captain Vielth replied. We have been hiding, waiting for the right time. The humans convinced us that time is now. Another screen opened. A creature made of living crystal spoke. The Litharian Empire stands with humanity. We remember when you declared us extinct. A third voice added, the Nexari clans have chosen their side. You called us pirates. We prefer the term freedom fighters. Admiral Hana waved her hand. While you focused on Earth, thinking it was our only world, we traveled to forgotten corners of the galaxy. We found species you had written off. We made alliances you never dreamed possible. The math equations on the human ships pulsed brighter. Energy weapons charged up with humming sounds that made the space around them vibrate. You wanted to conquer the galaxy? Hana said. We wanted to free it. Commander Park spoke again. Admiral, all weapons are ready. Energy at maximum. Shall we show them what 30 years of preparation can do? The alien fleet suddenly looked very small in comparison. They had brought the strongest ships from 12 worlds, but they faced an alliance of dozens of species, led by humans who had turned 30 years of war into 30 years of learning. Admiral Gextai realized they had made a terrible mistake. They had celebrated too early. Admiral Gextai looked at the screens showing hundreds of ships surrounding his fleet. His 6 arms trembled as he counted the weapons pointed at them. The math was simple. His 12 species had no chance against this massive alliance. His people, the Zarkoni, had always solved problems by fighting. For 1,000 years they conquered worlds and added them to their empire. But this was different. This was a trap they couldn't escape. The bridge fell silent, except for the soft humming of computers. Officers from 12 different worlds looked at their admiral waiting for orders. Some had multiple heads, others breathed water, but all of them understood the situation. Admiral, whispered his aide, what are your orders? Gextai watched the human ships grow brighter as their weapons charged. The math symbols on their hulls pulsed like heartbeats. He had never seen technology like this. All ships, he said slowly, stand down weapons. The words felt like poison in his mouth. Surrender was not the Zarkoni way, but dying was not the way either. On screen, Admiral Hana nodded. Wise choice. Our medical ships will help your wounded. We'll arrange comfortable quarters while we discuss the future. 3 months later, Admiral Gextai stood in a room aboard the human ship Incheon's Hope. The walls showed beautiful stars instead of metal. Beings from dozens of species sat around a large table made of glowing crystal. Dr. Yunji, the human negotiator, was a small woman with gentle eyes. She spoke softly, but everyone listened. Today we sign the Treaty of Sol. This creates the Cooperative Galactic Alliance. The treaty was different from any Gextai had seen. Instead of rules about who could conquer whom, it talked about sharing, knowledge, about species helping each other grow stronger. How did you hide all this? Asked Captain Rix of the blue-skinned Aldari. We watched Earth for 30 years, Dr. Yunji smiled. Earth wasn't destroyed because Earth wasn't there. 5 years ago, we moved it using predecessor gate technology. The room buzzed with surprised voices. Moving entire planets was supposed to be impossible. The Earth you destroyed was a hologram, explained Captain Velth, the predecessor leader. While you watched this fake Earth, the real one was building ships in a hidden system. Commander Park, a human officer, showed images on the wall. We built 64 dreadnoughts in secret. Each one took 5 years to complete. The aliens saw pictures of massive shipyards hidden behind artificial moons. Thousands of humans and predecessors working together, building the giant warships that had surrounded them. But how did you recruit all these species? Asked General Vex of the purple-scaled Threnodi. The Litharians were thought extinct. The Nexari never trusted anyone. A living crystal being answered. Zara of the Litharian Empire. Humans did something your alliance never tried. They asked us what we wanted instead of demanding what you wanted. Captain Hro of the Nexari clans nodded. His ship-like scars glowed blue as he spoke. When humans found us, they didn't call us pirates. They called us free traders and offered us legitimate work. Admiral Gextai began to understand. You didn't conquer these species. You befriended them. Exactly, Dr. Yunji replied. While you spent energy conquering, we spent energy cooperating. The treaty required all species to contribute their best skills to the alliance. The Litharians would share their crystal technology. The Nexari would explore new trade routes. The predecessors would teach ancient sciences. What about Earth? Asked Admiral Gextai. Will it return to the Sol system? Earth is already there, Commander Park said with a smile. Has been for 2 months. We moved it back after our shipyards were complete. The negotiations took 3 days. Each species signed the treaty in their own way. The Zarkoni used scent marks, the Aldari used light patterns, and humans used old-fashioned ink. As they signed, Dr. Yunji explained the human philosophy. We learned something during the war. Victory isn't about making others weaker. Victory is about making everyone stronger. Admiral Gextai signed his name with his 6 arms moving together. As he did, he thought about the future. His children would grow up in a galaxy where cooperation mattered more than conquest. The war had ended, but something better had begun. Captain Velth spoke for everyone. The age of empires is over. The age of alliance has begun. Outside the ship's windows, vessels from 30 different species flew together in perfect formation. They were no longer enemies preparing for battle. They were partners preparing for peace. Admiral Gextai stood in his new quarters aboard Alliance Station. The windows showed New Geneva, Earth's second capital city, floating below. The view still amazed him after 2 years. He was no longer an admiral commanding warships. Now he served as the Zarkoni representative on the Alliance Council. His job was to help different species work together, not fight each other. Through his window, he watched children playing in the station's gardens. Human children ran alongside young Zarkoni. Their laughter mixed with the clicking sounds of happy mandibles. A group of blue-scaled Aldari children chased crystal butterflies made by Litharian kids. On his desk sat a holographic projector. He touched it, and the image came to life. The memory always gave him chills. The hologram showed that day 3 years ago, when Earth's dreadnoughts appeared. 48 massive ships surrounding his celebrating fleet. The moment when victory turned into defeat. He kept this memory not to feel bad, but to remember an important lesson. The universe was always full of surprises. Sometimes the biggest surprise was that winning didn't mean what you thought it meant. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. A young human woman entered. Her name was Minji, and she worked as his assistant. Behind her came a Zarkoni child, who looked nervous. "Sir," Minji said, "this is Kextai, your nephew. He just arrived from the homeworld." Kextai's mandibles clicked in joy. He hadn't seen his nephew in 5 years. The young Zarkoni had grown tall and strong. "Uncle," Kextai said, "Father sent me to study here. He says I must learn about the Alliance." "Good," Kextai replied. "Sit. Watch the children play." They moved to the window together. In the garden below, young humans and aliens worked side by side. Ji-hoon, a Korean boy, helped a Zarkoni child plant seeds. So Young, a girl from Seoul, taught a crystal being how to use a watering can. "Is this real?" Kextai asked. "On our world, they say humans tricked us." Kextai pointed to his holographic projector. "Play the memory again. Tell me what you see." The image showed Earth's destruction, then the appearance of the Dreadnoughts. Kextai watched with wide eyes. "Humans destroyed our entire fleet," the young Zarkoni whispered. "No," Kextai said gently. "They could have destroyed our fleet. Instead, they offered peace." He changed the hologram to show the Treaty of Soul signing ceremony. Beings from 30 species working together to create new laws. 3 years ago, I thought victory meant making others surrender," Kextai explained. "Humans taught me victory means making everyone stronger." Minji showed them a tablet with pictures. "These are the new worlds we found together. The Alliance has discovered 50 new systems in 3 years. The pictures showed beautiful planets, with multiple species living together. Zarkoni cities next to human towns. Presidessa temples beside Litharian crystal gardens." "How do you keep peace?" Kextai asked. "So many different species, so many different ways." His uncle smiled, an expression the young Zarkoni had never seen before. "We remember why we joined. Everyone contributes what they do best." They walked to the observation deck. Below them, Alliance ships from dozens of species worked together. Human dreadnoughts flew patrol missions with predecessor scouts. Litharian crystal ships explored nebulae alongside Nexari trade vessels. "The old way was simple," Kextai said. "Strong species conquered weak ones. Fear kept peace. And the new way? The new way is harder. We must talk, compromise, share. But look at the results." He gestured to the busy station around them. Beings from everywhere in the galaxy lived, worked, and played together. The children's section had schools teaching dozens of languages and cultures. Dr. Yunji, the Alliance's chief negotiator, joined them on the deck. "Admiral, how is your nephew adapting?" "He learns quickly," Kextai replied. "Like all young ones." Dr. Yunji smiled. "Good. We need young minds for our next project. We're planning to explore beyond our galaxy." Kextai's mandibles clicked with excitement. "Beyond? To other stars?" "To other star groups," Dr. Yunji confirmed. "Who knows what species we'll meet, what friendships we'll make." As the day ended, Kextai sat with his nephew to watch the sunset over New Geneva. The city's lights began to glow, mixing human designs with alien architecture. "Uncle," Kextai said, "I'm glad we lost the war." Kextai laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "We didn't lose a war, nephew. We won a better future." In the gardens below, the children cleaned up their toys together. Human children helped Zarkoni gather their tools. Everyone worked as one group, not as separate species. The age of conquest had ended. The age of cooperation would last forever.